Cause you don't know football. Reek put us together like the Avengers. For the love of the game, this ain't for the pretenders. Used to strap them up, that's why we qualify. So when I tell you you don't know, I won't apologize. It get ugly on the gridiron, and I'm tired of watching all of these analysts misfire. This raw ain't politically correct, but either way you put it, man, we blessed. Tell y'all networks they should get hip to us. Moving on to big things when they pitch to us. A hot take can make you put on the gloves, but at the end of the day, it's all love. So as you gon' bring the stats to the room, or maybe the eye test to the Zoom, just know we appreciate y'all. But cause you don't know football, cause you don't know football, cause you don't know football.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. I'm your boy Rick. You already know we back in here. We jumping from one thing to the next. We're gonna see how this is gonna turn out. We got my boy Marquay, also known as Zara, in the building, and we're gonna do our thing this episode. There we go. We in there. All right, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we in there. See, I knew we was gonna put this together, man. First of all, Cesar, welcome back to the show, man. You've been away way too long, brother.
Oh man, better a better comeback. That's all that means.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, all the people, they was like, we need the facts. Where's Cesar at? You see what I'm saying? That's what they would say. So I just want you to know. So we are starting the Fatal Flaw series. So we're gonna go through the teams that, every team got a fatal flaw. Every team got a reason why they're not going to win a Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about every single team that's not, and why they're not going to win the Super Bowl. We even go over the team that's going to win the Super Bowl and say why they ain't going to win the Super Bowl. Now you know we on some shit then.
There you go.
All right. So you want to jump in? So today, me and you, we going to do the AFC South and the NFC East. All right. So let's start off. This is just me. I always like starting off with the ass teams first. You see. So ain't nobody asser than the Tennessee Titans this year. So to Tennessee Titans, what's their fatal flaw?
The Tennessee Titans' fatal flaw is they have put together a conglomerate, a pantheon of losing ass coaches. Like the team already, they're young quarterback, young core. They don't really have any glitz or glam to them. But then you put Robert Saleh, Brian Daboll, Brad Saleh. Okay. You put all these coaches together who never won nothing, expecting them to do more with less is insane.
Can I push back on Brian Daboll?
You can push back on Brian Daboll
only because Josh Allen became consistent only after Brian Daboll's existence. I just wanted to push back on that and throw that out there.
I do like him as an offensive coordinator, but what has he done as a head coach? Like
he's not the head coach. He's the offensive coordinator.
He isn't the head coach, but he's there with Rob. And who's going to be
now? What has he done as a head of a coach? Not much. That answer I can give you real quick.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't see how you maybe these three coaches have it, but I think they have a combined record of 40, 54, and 100 and
a lot of losses. You could end it at 100. A lot of losses. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a lot of losses. And I just don't, sophomore slumps are a real thing. You give this second year quarterback a whole new everything, offensive system, defensive system, head coaching system. You still haven't really built anything around him to have him be comfortable in any system. And then, you make these drastic changes. I think that's fatal enough. You went 3-14 last year. I mean, 3-14 would be a blessing this year.
I understand. All right. So I could end that whole thing on we could just move on. You know, but I gotta be fair to all the teams. The fatal flaw to the Tennessee Titans is that they rolled over this whole roster and didn't get any better. You know, like this roster already wasn't good. They didn't give Cam Ward really what he needed in terms of structure. You know, I hate when people or when organizations say, "Are we going to help our quarterback? Let's get him wide receivers." You know this about me. You got to get him offensive line. You got to get him a running back. You got to get a defense together to help him out. They just be like, "Oh, let's just get some receivers, and that's going to help everything." And I'm like, that's why you're right. They're going to be like 3-14 again. But look at it, if all things looking up the year after, they're gonna have all these early draft picks again. Maybe they might be able to do something with that. But this year's a wash. They just didn't get any better from last year.
Yeah, and I think when you change philosophies is even harder to do that. Like, it's not an advantage to switch head coaches in the drafting process. You know what I mean? Like, that's not an advantage. Whatever direction the last coach had, that new coach, he's not gonna. They don't have that communication. They might not even have the same coaching styles. Um, I think so. You said Salah? He gets a lot of love because he went to the 49ers, but the 49ers had pieces. Nah, well, last year was a little different, but he gets a lot of love from where he's been and where, you know what I mean, like,
He
but
does not love being a defensive coordinator, not a head coach.
yeah, but they keep giving him chances. Like, I don't know how he jumps the line every time because what he did in with the Jets was atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. Trust me, I agree. Um, but that's here nor there at this point. I don't have too much to really talk about when it comes to the Titans. So let's keep the ball rolling. Is there another really, really, really bad team? Um, in my opinion, we can go to Commanders next. The Washington Commanders. What's their fatal flaw?
Ooh, all right. So I'm gonna take this page out of your book. They don't have
Look
a
what you
guy.
did. You did that. I didn't listen. I didn't tell you to do that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear this now.
They don't have a guy. Uh, well, they have two like mid guys at pass rusher. They don't have a guy that's going to demand double teams every play. They don't have that pass rusher that makes it dangerous. Um, I also don't know. Their quarterback Jaden Daniels, he suffered that weird elbow injury last year, and
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like he was better, but then he also wasn't better.
Mm-hmm.
He might have that phobia coming into the season. Um, they also they did all that to get a number 2 receiver last year, and I don't think Debo came back this year. So they got Scary Terry for way too much. Um, they also uh they have a lot of changes at like I don't like when teams change offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I think they changed them both.
Mm-hmm.
Uh their offensive coordinator, he very new. He was in the system, but he was just a quarterback coach before. It's going to be a new, bigger role for him. The defensive coordinator came from Minnesota, and I mean, I don't think he's ever been a defensive coordinator before, but he has, been a position coach over the years a lot of times.
Right.
But those two new coaches, the I I gotta know if the quarterback is 100% healthy and if he's mentally ready to get over that phobia from was it a hyperextended elbow last year,
It was a hyperextended elbow. Yeah.
and it happened again after they got him that brace. I know I'd be scared of it happening a third time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then they don't have any, like, I mean, everybody can't have a premier pass rusher, right? There's not
Correct.
64 to go around,
Correct.
but when you're trying to go to the Super Bowl, maybe you need 4 of those mid-level guys instead of 1.5. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't get to the quarterback and and also you didn't shore up that wide receiver that you needed. You went got Debo last year. I don't think you re-signed him this year. I'm not 100% sure where Debo is this year, but
He's a free
Scary
agent.
Terry. I mean, and they used the shit out of him last year. They used him every which way.
Mhm.
You got Scary Terry in a full season, and I mean, he's a free agent. He's probably not going to get the 20 mil he's looking for. He might be able to get him for 5. Go ahead and do it.
Right.
I mean,
Okay. Um.
and they lost their number 2 running back.
Yes, they did. Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Um. So the last time that the Commanders roster looked like this, and I expected almost nothing from them, they went to the NFC Championship game. So there's something to hang your hat on. Now that happened, I have something to build on. Same thought process. If you're the same, you're getting worse. If you're either getting better or you're getting worse. If you're the same, you're getting worse. But we're having that conversation from how they looked 2 years ago. And I'm thinking, and I did a post where we were talking about the Commanders, and I'm hearing the Commanders fans, they're expecting something from the Commanders this year. Believe me, they are expecting something from the Commanders this year.
But they always are. They're one of those delusional fan bases that always thinks they're going to be good, even when the rest of the world can see they're not good.
Right. So I loved what Jaden Daniels did, but same thing we can kind of say about CJ Stroud in Houston. Jaden Daniels got to have another season like that for us to really continue to have conversations about him. You know what I mean? So we could call it a sophomore slump if we want. We could say whatever we want. He's got to bounce back this season and carry this roster in a way that now teams know that he can. So now they're prepared for it. And I think that presents a huge problem for the Commanders and how I feel.
Yeah. Another issue is they are drunk with their own success, because when Jaden Daniels did all those great
It's
things,
success from 2 years ago.
I know, but when Jaden Daniels did all those
You know
great
what I'm
things,
saying?
it was based off of them using VR headsets and getting more reps in with the VR headsets. But you can't simulate a hit, and you can't even though it's keep your players fresh for that one season,
Mm-hmm.
like there's something like, you can get into a VR ar 1,000 times. There's a difference when you get on the road and with a regular car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to account for that. And I think that, you know, and don't get me wrong, the coach is doing very well. But when you keep that same coach and that coach has that same philosophy, you're going to try and recreate what happened 2 years ago over and over again, but you're going to get further and further from it because
Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
yeah.
There it is. You landed the plane. I love when we arrive at the same point eventually. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Let's stay in the NFC East. The New York Giants.
Oh yeah. Let me get
What is the fatal flaw of the New York Giants?
the New York Giants. The fatal flaw is they got my coach. They got John Harbaugh, and I think he's a very good coach. The problem with John Harbaugh is, did he learn his lesson? Because
Lesson.
John Harbaugh tends to play it safe to the point of the team's detriment. So like the Ravens historically go up, and then they go into this prevent defense, and then we lose big leads and lose games because of it. Happened last year. That's probably why he got terminated. It's happened probably a dozen or more times in his tenure as the Ravens head coach. The difference is, when he won that Super Bowl and when he was winning games, he had a Ed Reed, he had a Ray Lewis, he had uh Joe Flacco. He had major prominent pieces in the league. You're going to a much younger team, a less proven team, a way less disciplined team. Um, that's your fatal flaw. Now, the other issues, your Achilles heel, you got like political issues clouding the locker room. You have your starting QB.
Yes.
going to Trump rallies, and
Yes.
your star defensive player is Muslim. I mean, you're not thinking forward. In addition to that, you have your 1, 2, and 3 receiver, your 1 and 2 receiver, and your 1 or 2 running back are injured, coming back from major injuries. And what you did to replace that was go get a whole like smorgasbord of washed up wide receivers. Like you brought Odell Beckham back. You went and got what's this fucking guy's name? You went and got another receiver that was never really great to replace Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton. These guys are slated to come back week 1, but when you are not doing a full training camp, when you're not 100% participating, the time is going to be off. You have a young quarterback who not only is young, but he also got banged up a little bit last year too. Now he's missing his go-to guys in training camp, or they're modifying it because you had an ACL. Like Cam Scatterboo had like an ACL, not ACL. He had a dislocated ankle, Achilles rupture, all this stuff, and he's trying to come back immediately.
Mhm.
Um, all that is going on, and again, it's a new system, new head coach. And I kind of see why he tried to bring as many Ravens players to New York as he could.
I mean, you
So
should see that happening.
he's trying to establish a system and a culture. I get it, but it's a lot.
Okay. All right. So let me say this. Out of all of the teams in the NFC East, if we're going to look at an NFC East team and say they could go from not great to the NFC Championship game like the Commanders did, I would be picking the New York Giants for that. And I really do think that they could. Um, when I look at their roster as a whole, I'm not saying they don't have holes in it, but where they have holes, I'm looking at it, I'm saying I'm actually a little bit comfortable with where they have the holes. So I can look at like their secondary, like their safeties. Not great safeties, but when's the last time we've had a safety like really change like the direction and trajectory of NFL games? Like it's been a long time since we've seen safeties be able to do that in this NFL. Okay. So the fact that they don't have great safeties, I'm cool with that. Now, noise is absolutely a factor. You know what I mean? It's very unfortunate that Jackson Dart decided to come out as a Trump supporter like that. Yeah, I mean, knowing at this point you got to know what that means for your teammates. And I'm not saying anybody has to shrink anything, but if you're going to be the head of a team, you've got to represent the whole team or stay away from stuff, even if that's what you actually think. I don't think he's racist. I don't think that he's against anything or anybody like that. I'm just saying, if you go and rock, you know what I mean, chains, it's not a good look to now be at a Trump rally. That and I might be in the minority in those thoughts, but don't rock jewelry and then be at a Trump rally.
You also gotta look at it like you're in New York City, one of the most like liberal places in the country. So your fan base is majority liberal. You're in a minority dominated sport with a minority dominated team. And I mean, I see you getting caught up in the moment, but at the same time, like, you know, Trump, he's using you to, gain some clout, but you're trying to get your next 50 million. You're trying to get that next guaranteed contract of 50 or 60 million dollars.
Mhm.
Like that's a lot of money to put on the line for somebody that's not gonna put money in your pocket.
Right. And I'm just saying I'm not against Jackson Dart for actually factually feeling like I'm in support of Donald Trump. That's not where I'm at with this. That's not the argument that I'm making. I'm just saying if you're going to be the head of a team, you can if you were I'm not going to use other examples. I'm not going to fall for that. I've been doing this media thing long enough. I'm not going to fall for that trap. But if you're going to be the head of a whole team, you got to understand the whole team has different thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure Tom Brady had thoughts about that collided with his teammates' thoughts. I'm sure Peyton Manning had thoughts that collided with his teammates' thoughts or who they wanted to support and stuff like that. We didn't hear about it, you know? So I think this is a learning moment, but that the noise will be a limiting factor in terms of what you know what I mean, trust wise. But
Absolutely. And especially like obviously you have Abdul Carter, who is just as outspoken, and it clearly had bothered him. So like, I mean, Cam did the right thing. He clarified in the media. Um, but is it over? Maybe. Is it not? Maybe not. But you have bigger fish to fry. All your skilled players are injured.
mhm.
You never address the offensive line issues. Um, Never address the offensive line. Skilled players are injured. Uh, Turmoil in the locker room, and the head coach. Is he going to be like, yes, we can win it, or is he going to be like, oh, we're up 10-7. Let's go into prevent defense, and hopefully they don't score 13 points in the next 5 minutes. Like,
We'll
and
see.
also I feel like the defensive coordinator, that's also who's the defensive coordinator? I'll tell you right now. The Giants have a defensive coordinator who is Denard Wilson.
Right. So he's a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, his two stays at defensive coordinator were both with the Tennessee Titans. Terrible. Besides that, he's been a position coach with the Ravens, the Eagles, the Jets, the Rams,
Mhm.
and the Bears. He's been around for a long. Well, he's not even that old. He's 44 years old,
Okay.
but he's been under a lot of top guys. Um, Sirianni, Lovey Smith, John Harbaugh, Adam Gase, Jeff Fisher, Brian Callahan, and Todd Bowles. He's been around. We'll see what he does, but it's all new to him.
Okay. We shall see. All right. So let's go back to the AFC South. Let's go with those Jacksonville Jaguars. Fatal flaw of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Being cheap,
Please elaborate.
being cheap. You had a running back last year who produced, and what do? You let him go for a bag of chips. You didn't get anything in return. You bring in Chris Rodriguez. I want to say Chris Rodriguez was he's a running back for the Commanders, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Chris Rodriguez, he did some stuff last year, but you know, you're trying to shore up your system. Your quarterback has been hit or miss. You finally get something going for you. You have a great season, and instead of doubling down on it, you let your quarterback safety net. Travis Etienne, 1,000 yard.
They let a linebacker go too. Keep
Like, they,
talking.
they, they,
I'll let you know exactly who they let go.
they let Travis Etienne go. 1,000 yard rusher. He also caught the ball out of the backfield sometimes. You replace him with a guy who may or may not be 1,000 yard rusher, but has does not catch nearly as much or as good as Travis Etienne. Um, Travis one got a big deal. He's in New Orleans, but I don't know what that's going to look like for the
Devin Lloyd. And they let go of Greg Newsome. So the linebacker. So they let go of Travis Etienne, Greg Lloyd, who was a Pro Bowler, and Greg Newsome.
yeah. And I mean, I think they let's see, yeah, they didn't even get any linebackers in the draft. Like in the 7th round, they got Parker Hughes. Um, is not boding well for them. Uh, Hopefully it does work out for them, but I feel like coaching stayed the same, but that's a major move, especially when you're trying to, they only had a year or 2 years with um with this quarterback. Now you're taking away his safety net, and I don't know how that's going to work out for him.
Okay. Um. So first of all, I've been telling people that they're going to be on the decline now. I think we've seen the peak of Jacksonville. Um, they're definitely towards the top of my list of teams that made the playoffs last year that are not going to make the playoffs this year. Um, they're on that list for me. All right, so I feel like they're closer to the Commanders in terms of how good the roster is at this point than they are the Texans, right? Who does not have the best all around roster, overall roster in the NFL. The Jaguars, I mean, it's even hard to even go to where to start in terms of what I feel. I just feel it's over. So when you say it's the fatal flaw, my fatal flaw for them, it's over. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. Like prediction. People, y'all can write this down. Uh, Jaguars are done. They're not the team that you think they are. Trevor Lawrence is not. We already know Trevor Lawrence. That's the thing. Everybody knows Trevor Lawrence really ain't the quarterback that we saw last year. Even though he did it, we still know he's not really that quarterback. And what goes up must come back down. You know that wasn't him, so he's got to come back to reality. This roster is worse. I I ain't really expecting too much from the Jaguars. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, like Trevor Lawrence, I'm not gonna say that he's not the guy. He's had a lot of turmoil at his coaching, and that seems like more and more you see like coaching is the make or break thing.
Okay, but I'm pushing back on that. So what? Okay, a lot of quarterbacks have. That conversation that you're starting is about elevation, not floor. I'm saying he has a low floor, so when coaching isn't great, it just happens to show up more. But a good quarterback can still withstand. That's the thing about a quarterback. They can still withstand turmoil. We've seen it. Quarterbacks withstand turmoil, um, needing help offensively, play call. Like we've seen quarterbacks still be like, all right, I can right the ship. He has a low floor and it shows up.
At the beginning of a quarterback's career, it's kind of hit or miss. Once a quarterback is established, it has some veteran qualities. You'll see them be able to um operate regardless of what's going on with the coaching staff. I don't know, like I know he's like I don't know what you want to call him, but he's like the poster boy for NFL. He won a national title. He came in with all that clout, and it's been very disappointing. And he's got more chances than a normal quarterback would. Um, and then he showed some glimpses last year. I just I just hate that he's going to be forgotten because they're not building around him. They're taking away from him.
Yeah, but all right, so we really only have 2 seasons. So last year and one other year they made the playoffs. The real claim he's got 3 claims to fame. His college career, he beat Justin Herbert in the playoffs, which everyone did, by the way. And now last season. And I'm giving him props on it. I'm just saying, he been in the league about like 7, 8 years. And last year was the real first year where we could look at something and say, you know what? He actually played well. All I'm saying is you just gotta admit the man has a low floor, and that's part of the problem here. The holes in their roster, which now got bigger, He's not picking that up, and people and people are going to act surprised. I can't believe this.
I'm gonna burst your bubble. He's only been in the league. This is going to be his 6th year coming out.
What I say, 7? I said 7.
He said 7 or 8 years coming in. He's only had 5 years in. Now he's been in the league 5 years. He has 3 4,000-yard seasons, 1 3,600, and 1 2,000. Like, yeah, I mean, I know.
So just but like, all right, but you're naming stats. Stats without context are empty. Okay, I don't care what the stats say. I understand that. What is the content? What did we see from them stats? You don't even remember. It's not memorable. Like, he didn't create like an impact. He didn't take over games. He didn't render defenses and defensive coordinators useless. He had talent around him, and I'm not mad at him, but he had to have talent, cohesiveness, and coaching help him along, and he didn't really help it all along either. And that's all I'm saying.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, I mean, he's not getting the harsh reviews that you would give to a Lamar or a
I agree.
Or a Josh Allen, right?
I agree, and he should be.
But did he get paid yet? He's
Yes.
not.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
all right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'll leave it at that.
That's there's no place to move it. Like, he's okay. He's not. I'm saying if there's a well made roster and he steps into it.
But it's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's Kirk Cousins. He's going to get more opportunities than he deserves. He's going to make a lot of money, even though.
Yeah. See, you came around. I'm glad you came around. I knew it. I knew you'd come around.
I'm just not big on, like, the younger quarterbacks. I'm not big on defining them, especially when the franchise has been in turmoil our whole lives. Like,
right. But like, so this is his 7th year, right?
No, this is his 6th he's going into.
So he's had 5 years.
Yes.
Okay, and this is his 6th year.
Yes.
All right, I'll give him.
One year he led the league in interceptions, but he was also a rookie.
I mean, listen, he ain't really a young quarterback no more. But I'll give you this year for it.
Yeah,
I'll give you this year for it.
But I'm already going to tell you this year's a wash because he doesn't have a running back. Like, maybe that running back they picked up.
This is what I'm saying. This is you like. It's like you're saying everything that I'm saying. They lost things, and you know it's gonna. Huh?
They still got Tank Bigsby?
Nah, they got the dude Tutton.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Tutton he had a good year last year. Bashul Tutton.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, cool. So I think that's a good place. Let's take 5 from right here, and we're gonna come back for part 2.